what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? I'm here with a very special guest. I feel like waiting all day in anticipation for this. Jenna from the Date Card podcast is here. Jenna, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I was like so stoked when you reached out because I've been a fan of the pod for, I feel like a year now.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, about a year ago, a lot of people came on to the
The
team.
scene.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
yes.
we were on Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Yes.
And like people were like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, spoiler alert, I'm sure everyone knows because of your name, Date Card Podcast.
Yes.
But you and your friend Danica podcast about The Bachelor and Bachelor related news. How did you? I know. It's tough out here for those Bachelor fans. It's tough out here in the Bachelor streets. Let me tell you that. This is the saddest part about me, I feel like, as a person. Before we talk more about what you do in your podcast.
Tell me how sad you are. I love it.
Okay, I don't think I've actually watched a Bachelor episode in like a full season in probably like 5 years. And I still listen to multiple Bachelor podcasts.
I'm obsessed.
And I'm still up to date with all of the drama.
All the drama. See, that makes me so fucking happy. I hear about these people like you that exist out there who don't watch the show currently and still listen to podcasts and that they still love it. And I'm like, and I believe it, but it's like, okay, what? And so I love that exists and that you said like you're up to date. Like you understand what's going on in the drama. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I heard about these people too when I still watched the show religiously. Right. I feel like literally the last season I fully watched was Becca Kufrin's season.
Yeah.
And Kufrin.
Yeah, Kufrin.
Kufrin.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows, really? And I'm like, that's impossible. How could you ever listen to a podcast about a show that you've never watched? And it's like, oh, I will listen to multiple. So when did you get into The Bachelor?
Well, so yeah, I started watching it way back in the day, not from the very beginning, but there was another pilot before the tragic pilot Pete named Jake. Named Jake Pavelka. And
of course.
I watched his season and was kind of caught in it because the breakup was so nasty and disgusting that I was kind of like, this show, okay, it's terrible and I hate it, but I'm gonna be here for it. So I've been watching since then, and I started podcasting about it and making memes about it at the beginning of Becca Kufrin's season, actually.
Nice.
Because I'd say about a year or two before that, there was like a lot of like podcasts out there from like comedians and like celebrities or, whatever. And, one of the ones I really loved at that time was Here to Make Friends. And,
me too.
It's so great. It was like this feminist lens. And I loved listening to it and feeling like I was talking to them, but I didn't always agree with everything they said. And also just in general, I was like, I have opinions. I'm like a woman watching this show. I'm a young, I was probably around 30, like I have thoughts and opinions and I want to like just put them out there. Didn't think anyone would listen or care. And I started the meme page as well at that time and quickly found out that making memes about The Bachelor was apparently like my weird niche. Like
yes.
I'm good at that. Like it's kind of scary. And the podcast started off really small. I was like circulating different guest hosts. And then eventually I met my friend Danica online with a different fandom. And she found out I liked The Bachelor and we started talking about it. I was like, you should come over and just like record an episode with me. And it was just like love at first sight. Like the chemistry was perfect. And so we've been recording ever since then. That was probably like 2.5 years ago. And since then it's just kind of, grown into this beautiful, scary baby that it is.
And you're totally right about your talent for making Bachelor memes.
I was being really like boastful at that, but thank you.
No, like it's legitimate. They're so funny. If anybody listening isn't following Date Card Pod on Insta, you have to. They're just so funny, and I feel like it's just so out of my wheelhouse. Like I feel like I'm just funny in a different way, so I just really respect and appreciate those.
Thank you. Yeah, making memes is a specific type of creativity, and I can make them, I guess, in general, like other places. I'll try to make them here and there for like other pop culture, but for some reason Bachelor version is like where it's at for me.
Yeah, and like I see your Twilight ones too.
Yes,
of course. Like,
of course, yes.
Our interests are just one circle.
I love this for us.
Okay, I want to know, because every time I meet a Bachelor fan, I feel like I have to ask them this question. Like, do you feel bad being a Bachelor fan?
Oh, Lord, I know.
Not to like open that can of worms, but like, it's just like, it's really tough.
It is really tough. Yeah, it is very tough. Yes and no. I think at times I was like afraid to tell people about it, you know, and that's kind of why I started the podcast and started getting into it with other people, because I was like, well, there is a community out here of people who are just like me, you know. And like through the podcast and what we've done over the years with like, you know, calling out problematic behavior and stuff like that, you also find not only just people who like the show that are like feminists, but you also find fucking like, you know, ACAB Bachelor people. Like it's so fucking wild, and I love it. And we are also part of the queer part of Bachelor Nation, and it's just like really special. So it has felt less like embarrassing, because there's people who I'm having discourse with online who are like, you know, like abolish police, but also I really liked what Mike Johnson did on The Bachelorette. You know, like you just like, I love that it can be the same. We all have multitudes. So I think that is great. I do think the last, you know, 2 years have been rough, and it has been hard. And today I was actually just explaining to a stranger who asked me about The Bachelorette, and they really shouldn't have. That was their fault. But, you know, 20 minutes later, I'm like, well, and this is why we have an extra season this year. But like that story as to why we have an extra season this year is rooted in racism. Yeah. And that's like such an unfortunate reality. And so to like tell it to somebody, it's like, oh, rough. You're like, okay, so first of all, they had their first Black male lead in 2021 after 20 seasons, and they're like, excuse you? And I'm like, yeah, okay, it gets worse. You know, but
it gets way worse.
It gets way worse before it gets better. And so yeah, there's that. But I also feel like, you know, there's just so the content we consume is problematic everywhere. If you want to consume content in this world, it's really hard pressed to find something that isn't problematic. And, you know, I think in some ways the woke Bachelor Nation fandom has done some good at changing the discourse on the show and around it. And so I think that's a good thing. So I'm kind of proud now in a way.
I love that. Yeah, when you like really look at it that way, that's a really good point. I think like my first time thinking about The Bachelor in a different light was actually in one of my like interpersonal relationships class in university. And I feel like we actually looked at Jake and Vienna's breakup when they're like on the bench arguing. Like, and we like, my prof would like pause it and be like, what was displayed here? And like all of this like just like looking at relationships, real relationships kind of play out in this way. And like I feel like a lot has changed since then. I feel like a lot is like more manufactured or surface level like nowadays on The Bachelor, but like there is still some like real raw emotions. Like I think of Katie and Greg's breakup and stuff like that. And to be able to like slow that down and look at it analytically is like fascinating to me.
Yeah. And it's because it's a deep well of discourse online about that kind of stuff that I feel like maybe some other shows aren't having. I don't know, whatever. To an extent, like, are people who are watching, you know, Actually, I don't know. I'm talking out my ass because I don't watch any of the shows. So I don't know. But yeah, I feel like it's just, it's more, you know, but see, that's also become a problem. There's that like famous reductress meme or whatever, like feminist turns off her brain for 2 hours to watch The Bachelorette. But it's like I can't even really turn my brain off anymore. I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. So it's been a weird relationship now, also being a commenter on it, but I'm still finding some joy in it.
Yeah,
LOL.
yeah. And I do feel like it does trickle into like other TV shows. Like I've been getting into some Bravo TV shows and like there is discourse about those happening that I don't think would have happened a few years ago and stuff. So I do think that Bachelor Nation is setting kind of an example that's
that's nice. Yay.
So today we're going to talk about Bachelor Nation news outside of the TV show. Like I love Michelle and I truly wish that I could dedicate 2 hours of my week to her because she seems amazing, but I unfortunately am not watching, but of course I want to like catch up on things that are happening. We're going to talk about Britney Spears because it's a very exciting time in her life right now.
It is.
And then Harry Styles, which I have so much to say.
I'm so excited for that segment because I don't know a ton about him, so I'm really excited. But I have opinions though. But like, let's do it.
Okay, I love that. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was just Blake and Katie broke up. Are you surprised by this breakup announcement?
Listen. Katie and Blake are both each other's third choice.
Correct.
So no, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I think the aspect that I'm surprised about it is that it happened this soon.
Yes. Yeah.
I really thought they were gonna like stick it out for the press for like 8 months.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Because it just like is almost like I feel like let down. I know that's really me, but I'm just like, we went through all of that for this. Like we didn't even get like a cute like red carpet moment. Like what the fuck?
Yes.
He like visited you in San Diego once, you went to Canada once, and then it's done. And I just like part of me thinks it's because Blake is trying to become the Bachelor. I've never liked him from the beginning. I don't think he's a monster, but I've just never had a good feeling about him. And I feel like he's there for the quote unquote wrong reasons. And I don't think he thought he would get as far as he did. And that he was hoping that he could become the Bachelor. And, there's some stupid rumors that he might become the next a Bachelor in a couple seasons, but I don't really think so, but I still think that's probably what he wanted.
Yeah. I feel like he probably, like it was so clear that Katie was picking Greg and then he was like, oh shit, like it kind of happened to me. And I feel like that does sometimes happen for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never liked him too. He gives me the creeps for some reason.
Something about the eyes.
Eyes.
Like too intense. And his beard is too pointy. I'm not trying to shit on people's facial hair, but I guess I am. I just is like, it's a little much. And
it's angular.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I would want to like, no.
No, and I feel like because I'm Canadian and like he also
I don't know why I laughed at that, sorry.
And there's so few Canadians on the show. And then he also was weirdly on my hometown college's hockey team. And like my hometown is like 100,000 people, like very tiny. Like, so it's just so random. So I feel like I have all these things that I should be rooting for him, but he just gives me the ick.
Yeah.
And I just really thought because Katie had such a vice grip on her season of wanting it to be like the quintessential perfect Bachelorette season that I'm so surprised that she wasn't like, we need to stick this out for like the opportunities that being a couple in Bachelor Nation affords us.
Yeah. That's surprising. Yeah. Considering since I think he's there for Cloud, I'm kind of surprised. So there must have been something that
so bad
that happened that's bad, and I don't really know. Maybe I mean, truly, yeah. There's speculation that she might be dating this guy named John that went home like week two,
yes.
And I mean, at some point, I'm starting to wonder, because what we're gonna talk about next is her Katie's 12 days of messy.
Yes.
It's like, I'm like, what is going on? It's not even Christmas yet. No, well, because of course what it is it's a reference to Taylor Swift's re-release of Red, which if you've been following my Instagram this week, you'll know that I became a Swiftie at the age of 36.
I'm obsessed. I know. I have been following it because I was like, how have you avoided Taylor Swift for so long?
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
It's pretty great. So she's doing this thing where she's doing 12 days of 12 of the guys from the show from her season, that a song is being associated to it, and people are not happy about it.
No, I think she thought that it was gonna be like so cute, and then it just like did not play well at all. And I feel like the cringiest thing, and I wrote this in the notes, is she made it a fucking highlight on Instagram. And I was like, I feel like when you do shit like this, it has to be like off the cuff and like just like a joke, or like make it like meme out of it type thing. But it's like, it's so planned that it just looks so cringy. Like it's so cringe.
It is cringe content that didn't work, right? Like some cringe content works so well, and this one didn't. And it is like, Now here's the thing. I think it's a little sexist to have people being like, all her men don't care about her anymore, so she's just like wasting her time. It's like, dude, like, it's y'all, they're all here for clout or whatever. So like, let's keep that part like to a minimum.
Yeah,
but I do think it's just cringe, and I do think that she didn't like think that this
that would like have so much blowback. Like, I feel like she really thought she was getting like the upper hand, and it does look petty. And usually I'm like super down for that, obviously, but I'm like, this is the wrong type of like,
oh my God,
like really the wrong type of like attention that you were looking for.
And then like last night she made some story that's like asking for like she tags Taylor Swift and like is referencing that she might like try to like hook up with another man from her season. And I'm like, what is going on?
I know, that was like, I got sent that by a friend of the pod, Courtney sent it to me, and I was like, I like can't even read that. I'm like so confused. Stop taking Taylor Swift. Like, you are a nobody in like the world of celebrity. Like, and I can't emphasize that enough. I feel like when you're doing a joke like this, or you have to have like build up to the real like reveal, and the first day was just Blake, we are never getting back together, and I was like, that should have been day 12.
Oh my God. But I'm thinking you and I are probably on the same page.
Yes.
Day 12 is actually going to be Greg and it's going to be all too well.
Yes.
And I do think you're probably right on that, and I see what she's doing.
Yeah.
I see what she's doing. And here's the thing, I was a big fuck Greg, and I still am.
Me
so
too.
like that might be like the only one I'm like, yeah, no, good. Like he like was gaslighting
that actually
you. Like,
makes sense.
That one works. And so like, I'm gonna give her a pass on that one. But what I foresee it is backfiring more, of course, because people are pissed. And so I just think it's just gonna reignite the thing, because she got a lot of flack for that, which is, I think, was unfair. Like, he was petty to her.
Totally. I feel like a lot of people have softened on Greg, which also pisses me off, because like, I get it, he's fucking hot.
I know, God.
I saw him out in New York, like not IRL, but like on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I like, it was just like a candid shot, and I was like, literally, fuck my life. Like,
I would let you ruin me. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Damn it. I hate it so much.
I feel like, I feel like I just need to sit with that for a minute. Okay, another cringe thing that I wanted to talk about happening on Instagram right now is Josh doing, Jenna's gonna do a full spit take here.
I almost did, Lord.
Like, Josh is doing cryptocurrency like sales ? On his Instagram. It's just like, you couldn't have picked a more like stereotypical route for him to go down.
Yeah, I was like, so it's funny, I didn't see this live, like when it like happened or whatever. And so when I saw that note, I was like, well, fuck Tori for making me think about fucking Josh Murray again. I was really trying to not think about him. And I went to his page and it turns out I'm not following him, which is really weird because I follow everybody, whether you're good or bad. Except for Chris Harrison. I did make a hard rule about not following him.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, color me not shocked at all. Fuck me up. What a absolute
Loser.
tool loser. Yeah, like I
Yes.
can't. And he's so cringe as well. Apparently he had a podcast. When I looked through his pages, there was a podcast that's not, I don't think it's in service anymore.
No.
And it was like called Getting Naked with Josh. I'm like, absolutely no one wants to do that.
No.
No thank you. And then I saw him doing an ad for Zaxby's.
For what?
Zaxby's, it's like a fast food chain or something.
Oh
In the
no.
Midwest, I think. I'm
Oh
not
no.
sure. And he's doing a hashtag ad. He had to put hashtag ad because it was a hashtag ad for chicken wings. And it just made me think about his ex, Amanda Stanton, at the beginning of the pandemic when everything went to hell and everyone thought it was going to be for like 3 weeks, right? And then like about month 3 into it, everyone's like, oh God, all the influencers started freaking out. And Amanda Stanton is one of the biggest influencers out there, right? And so she started doing commercials for cereal. And I was like, oh shit, our economy is crashing. Like, that's not good. Amanda Stanton's doing ads for cereal, but I expect Josh Murray to be doing ads for Zaxby's chicken wings. So that makes sense to me.
So funny.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I also really hate Amanda Stanton.
Yeah, she's pretty insufferable.
Like, so insufferable. When they were dating on Bachelor in Paradise, I feel like that was my last straw.
Yeah.
Like, I literally was like, I can't do it anymore. Like this is it. Like,
that's amazing. Yeah. And it was so toxic, and like, but she loves toxic men.
Yeah. Is she still like engaged to kind of like a
nobody,
a pleb? Yeah.
I think civilian. I don't even remember. Like, there was one really horrible guy that she had like this like domestic violence charge issue with.
Right.
That she had a domestic violence charge, which was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then now she's with a different guy. He looks kind of better, but he's at least hotter. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for making me think about those people. It really brought me down a fucking thing. Oh, like, God.
Just couldn't have brought the mood down any lower.
I mean, to be petty, I'm just kind of surprised that not more Bachelor men are doing crypto sales, to be honest. Matt James famously was like the first one to do it, and good for him. Yes, that for me, I'm okay with that, but like,
he did like some NFT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just the finance bros just doing their thing. I'll stay out of it.
Yeah, I know. It's not for us pretty girls over here.
No, exactly. Okay, this was also like just talking about desperado moves. Pilot Pete's book.
Yes.
So like Tyler Cameron gets basically like a tell-all. Hannah Brown gets a tell-all.
Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie Pruitt, even like many people that have come before them in what I reference like the golden age of Bachelor Nation. And he gets a children's book. And like, it's so sad. I saw like the book launch pictures. I don't think there was a kid there.
No, it was all like a drunken fucking shit show with like half of the B class of Bachelor Nation. Like, there's some A class there too, but like, it was weird. And I guess I respect him going with it anyway, because you fucking have to. But like, oh my God. So like, my little like fun thing I like to bring up when anyone's talking about this. So I love that you brought that up. You're like, everyone else is getting tell-alls, obsessed. The fact that he's not getting one, oh my God, that's so fucking juicy.
I know.
So good. No one wants it, sir.
I know.
Oh my
God.
God.
I'll go to sleep happy tonight knowing that he doesn't get the chance to write like a novel.
It's so beautiful. So he's writing this children's book. And so my little fun thing is like, you go to like click on the publisher that's tagged on the photo for like whatever. And it goes to this really tiny children's Instagram page, or in children's books publisher Instagram page called like Blue Balloon Books or something. And it's like really tiny. I like literally a grandma is probably running the social media. It's so horrific. And then I'm like, I do a little more research because I'm just like, this is embarrassing. Like, he's not even with like a regular publisher, right? And then I do a little more research and I found out this is like a sister company or like owned by a larger book publisher. I go to that page and it's called like Ballast Books. And it's a like conservative publisher that like publishes nothing but like autobiographies from like people who went to the wars and like conservative like Republican like politicians, and like the page is like gross. It's very like just so patriotic to the point of like, oh my god, there's like photos of Trump on it. It's like disgusting. And I just like that, to me is even more like tasty that he like couldn't even get his shitty children's book into like
a real publishing company.
Yeah, his fucking Republican crazy mother had to get him this through this like Republican conservative publishing like house, and I just think that's so funny to me.
I know, because Barb is probably like loving it, but it's so embarrassing, and it just seems like such a cash grab, obviously. And like, I feel like my favorite thing on this podcast is chirping celebrities for doing things that I would completely do. Like,
yes,
given the chance. No,
thank you. Yes, good point and true.
Yes, like I would love to write a children's book, like if so given the chance. But like, it just seems like such a slap in the face, especially with like his two exes, Maddie and Hannah Brown, getting like full, proper publishing deals. Have you read any Bachelor Nation books?
It's so funny. No, I read the one that was written by Amy Kaufman, which is just like a reporter, and she wrote one called Bachelor Nation, and it's good, and I loved it. I just like don't read books unless it's Twilight, so I just have like a thing about that. No, I really need to. I get really sucked into fucking podcasts, and I know I can listen to audiobooks, but
it's not the same. Yeah, I literally had this discussion with friends last night over dinner. Like, it's just not the same.
Yeah, so I do want to read. I do have Mike Johnson's book, and I have read most of it. It's actually really cute. It's just like really positive and sweet, and like affirmations and like really nice. And Mike Johnson's killing it. I've always wanted him to be the Bachelor, obviously, but I think he's actually better than the Bachelor. Yeah. So good for him. But yeah, I would like to read some of them. I think I would like to read like Andy's, or because she talks shit about Nick Viall, which I'm here for. Yeah. I think if like. Yeah, I kind of would love, well, and I very much plan on reading Rachel Lindsay's book coming out soon, but my friend Ash Talks Batch, which is an account everyone should follow, has reminded us that she's trying to not be attached to Bachelor Nation as much anymore, so I wouldn't really call it a Bachelor book, but I definitely want to read it. And I might read Hannah's, to be honest. I saw some really good gossip today about it that came out on Reddit. Somebody got an early copy of the book, and it definitely, there's some juice in there.
Good. Okay. I have a weird, like, soft spot for Hannah. Yeah. And I know I shouldn't.
I mean, it's complicated.
It's very complicated, but, like, I weirdly do. I may try to read her book as well. And definitely Rachel Lindsay's, because I loved her season.
Yes.
And I love what she's doing after. She's one of the people that have really, like, done well and has moved on in, like, such a good way from Bachelor
like, talks about things that she's, like, invested in, you know, and, like, cares about.
So that's, like, a really good example. But from Hannah's book, there was a tidbit that also came out that she slept with Pieper when his season was airing. Yeah. What did you think of that?
Oh my God, I loved it so much. Again, I said that on Instagram. I said, y'all, I'm not out here to promote her for various reasons, but I also do think that she deserves to be able to tell her story, just like anyone else, you know, and in fact, she might surprise us with discourse about her using the N-word online. So, I think it's whatever. No one has to read it, but I love the mess. Oh my God.
I know.
So she fucking tells us that she slept with Peter after he broke up with Hannah Ann. And the show was literally airing, so they broke up like right away, basically. And him and Hannah Ann. And then within that month, she sees him at a party, and they go back to his house, his parents' house where he was living. An adult man, yeah. And then they end up sex that night, and she says
in his car,
good.
right?
No, in the house.
Okay, that's less hot.
Yeah. And I found out
sad.
today when I found out more information online today was that like he was like kind of rude. They like talked for a while, and then he like went to his bedroom and left her to talk to his mother, and she was talking to Barb for like hours, drunk probably. And then eventually Pete texts her and is like, hey, come to my room and cuddle. And then they have sex, and it was bad.
Hey, that literally sound like, okay, like I just feel like this is so classic of the type of person that Peter is. Like that is just so fucking classic. And like I just don't get guys, any adult who lives with their parents that like doesn't have financial need to, like, Peter, you're doing fucking well. And like now he lives in New York, but like with Dustin, but like you were old. like straight up. But I can so see him do that. Like and of course Barb is totally fine to just chit chat with Hannah in like the kitchen.
Yeah, and apparently she talks shit about some of his other like girlfriends or whatever. So I'm like, oh, I love this. So I want to maybe read that for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff. I love it.
I'm not surprised because of like her coming on at the beginning of this season. Like they obviously had a lot of like unresolved feelings for each other, but the one thing I am surprised about Peter is like how he could just get so many girls in January 2019. Was that? I don't know. Just like that's wild to me because like Hannah Ann, like I hate her also.
Yeah, Maddie, Kelly.
Yeah, I don't think I like any of them. When you post on your Instagram Hannah Ann on the golf cart. Like I literally like every single time I fucking die. Why was Hannah Ann on the set of Claire and Tasha's season?
We'll fucking never know.
We'll never know, and it like kills me to this day. But yeah, I just like I don't get his charm. He just pisses me off so much. Basically,
I think there's like a puppy dog element to it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because he doesn't seem on surface as like a fuck boy. So like I think
but he maybe
so trick people. But he so is. But I think it just tricks people somehow, and I don't understand.
So when that information was released, he immediately went on a podcast. It was Game of Roses, right?
No, he did his own. He has his own.
Okay.
But he went on the Instagram of Game of Roses to say like, hey, I'm gonna do my podcast tonight. I found out I was like against this. I was like, see, he's just doing this for clout. Like, fuck him, right? But apparently people messaged me and said he was like pretty nice about it and was like complimenting Hannah a ton, and then like said that like it like corroborated it. He was like, no, it's true. Yeah. And like didn't try to like slut shame her at all, which I really expected him to do. So I guess good on him.
Yeah, that is. I feel like that's growth because I feel like he like shit on Kelly.
Yeah.
With their breakup.
Did. Oh my god.
Yeah. So great. Like, okay, moving from like my most hated Bachelor contestant to my least hated, Tyler Cameron released like the most scandalous photos, like basically like full peen.
Like, we saw the full Monty. He is some weird like photo shoot for this man magazine called The Man. I'm not sure I'm saying it.
That killed me.
I can't.
That killed me. I was like, I feel like, is this a gay, like for gay men?
Thank you, right? I mean,
because like who's the audience of The Man?
Like, and you know what? That's what I learned. If I learned nothing this summer was that Kenny Broch or whatever his name is, can make working for gay modeling things work for you. He has a long history of modeling for gay magazines and photo sites and things like that. So good for him, and I love that for Tyler. But yeah, it was just like funny to me because the whole photo shoot was like he has a fucking bucket, and it's like I'm like, are we doing the ice bucket challenge? I don't know. He's like dumping it on him. He looks like a fucking fool. There's one photo he's like wearing the bucket as a hat. I was like, okay, we've gone to a weird timeline. And then the last scandalous photo is just like he's wearing these whitey tighties and they're wet from the water, and you see so much of this man's foreskin.
I know.
Oh my god.
It's all foreskin. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to like edit down the volume of my laugh. Like, I'm dying. I feel like I'm blushing. Thank God this is audio only. Oh my god. Jenna almost did another spit take. We're like 0 for 2, but I'm waiting for it.
I can't ruin this laptop. Okay. Oh, fuck me up. It's so good, y'all. If you want to check it out, go to Date Card Pod on Instagram. I posted a meme about it. That's all you need to know. It's just, even if you've never watched The Bachelor, it's an important photo for history.
Yes, absolutely. I just like, okay, then we can like swiftly move on, but like I just like I can't believe the fucking hold that this man has on the internet and myself. Like the way that I clicked through that Instagram like carousel at the speed was like I've never moved quicker. Like
I'm proud of you. God. Happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, last Bachelor thing. Maybe more of a somber note. Brendan and Pieper, they were like kind of rumored to have been broken up after their like absolutely chaotic appearance on Bachelor in Paradise. But then they confirmed this week on Instagram that they're dating. What do you think of that?
I mean, I'm not surprised, and I guess it's fine. If we had to have gone through that whole thing and traumatized a lot of people of color watching that, then I guess I'm glad it worked out. It's just so messy. But I think the producers were trying to, I think the whole thing was messy. And I think Brandon, he's the one that really like fucked up, and Pieper had her role in it. But I also think a lot of people on the beach probably talk about follower count and like all these different things. I know for a fact it happens.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They just chose to show her kind of talking in that light. And I think that was retaliation for her standing up against Chris Harrison being a racist earlier in the year. And so I just have like complicated feelings about it. So, and the thing is ultimately like no matter how shitty it all was, like both of them got like death threats and shit, and that's like not cool.
No.
And if it works out, I guess it works out. But I mean, I think it's hilarious they waited. I know what they did is so obvious to me. They definitely played it up like they broke up. I don't think they ever broke up.
Right. Well, that was like another part of it, like another layer, is they were seen. I think they like live in Boston or something like that, or in, I don't know, the Northeast. And they were literally seen all the time eating at restaurants and stuff when the season was airing. So it was just like, it was so poorly done. We've all discussed this, but I was like a tiny bit sad that they had broken up, because I was like, this really like ruined your life. So yeah, like all of this for nothing. So I hope they've like learned a lesson from this, and like they can have each other. Like as far as I'm concerned, he's still like down like 100,000 followers and stuff. So Which is crazy because if you would have asked me during Tayshia's season, I was like, he's gonna be like one of those 1 million like Instagram follower type guys, like following in Tyler Cameron's footsteps, all of this, and then just like
nothing,
the biggest crash and burn.
Yeah. And I mean, and it makes you think like maybe Tyler was smart not going on Paradise, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it's like the overexposure, like or it like gets to your head, and that like is clearly what happened to them. But obviously the impact on Natasha and the viewers and stuff like that is just like,
it's not fun. It's not good.
Yes, like there's no words to like, I don't know, to describe it. But interesting. But hot take that they were still together this whole time. I was like, oh, maybe they had like kind of a falling out while this aired and they just couldn't stick it together, but then they reunited. But you're probably right. They were probably together this whole time.
Yeah. I'm sure they had a conversation the way he was talking to people, or like how it messed everything up for them, you know? But I think they stayed together the whole time. So
I also, when you said Pieper, you think that she had less to do with it. I also really noticed on TikTok that she has become really good friends with, or like continued to be friends with a lot of the Bachelor contestants, like from Matt James's season in New York, obviously. So it like that makes me feel like
it wasn't like she's
still friends with people, so like people still like her. So like there's obviously good redeeming
for sure qualities. And I guess maybe in him as well, because I think, you know, people wouldn't allow her to date him, I guess, you know, if they were friends with her, they'd be like, girl, let's not do this, you know.
Red flags and stuff like that. Absolutely. That's a good point. Well, we'll see what happens next. Okay, moving right along. Huge week for Britney Spears. She was released of her conservatorship, as everyone knows. You were at the court hearings in LA.
I was outside. Sadly didn't get to go to inside to actually be in the court. But I flew down to LA for it. It was like, I've been a part of it since like day one of like the newer version of it that came out in 2019, #Free Britney. You know, if once you get into it, you realize that a lot of people have been advocating for her on, you know, smaller levels because no one would listen to them for years. People have been aware that she was in the conservatorship and it was not good for a while. But, you know, in 2019, a voicemail was leaked on a podcast, Britney's Gram, and it all just kind of exploded from there. And that's how I found out about it. And so I've been kind of just like consuming and participating in the movement since then. And it really sped up and got big in the last year. And you know, we all knew more or less that Friday, November 12th would be the hearing that would, you know, terminate the conservatorship. And I was like, I just gotta go for this. This is such a like momentous moment. So I flew down to LA. It was so much fun. It was amazing.
I like can't even imagine what it would be like to be there.
Yeah, it was really beautiful in like so many ways. Like even on a smaller level, personal level, of just like I felt like I had gained like parasocial relationships with some of these activists, and so just to like be there and see them and talk to some of them was just like so cool. And then, you know, just to also be there. I mean, like it's 13 years that she'd been in this, and to have that day happen. And what's really, really unfortunate is that the hearing took like 30-40 minutes tops. 13 years, and they were just in and out. The judge was like, yeah, let's cancel this. And the judge gave us what we finally wanted to know for like official. We knew this for a long time, but it was more or less fraudulent. I mean, it was fraudulent, but it was fraudulent in the sense that they never filed a capacity report that actually gave a diagnosis that would make a probate conservatorship that she specifically was on valid. And she like acknowledged that. So that was like kind of wild, but that just makes it more bittersweet because you're just like, So all of this because it was not even real? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Do you think like this that she'll, because I bet she just maybe doesn't even want anything to do with it, but do you think she'll sue her dad and the company and like the people
Yeah,
that
did
concocted
this.
this whole
Yeah.
thing? And
It's hard to say. I think it kind of changes day to day on whether I think it'll go through or not. Her new lawyer that she got, Matt Rosengart, has been doing a lot of work to try to depose and get evidence from her father and from TriStar Sports and Entertainment, who were involved in it from the beginning. They claim otherwise, but they were, and they have been refusing to give documents over. And the lawyer said that on Friday, and it was amazing. So that was another like slap to the face. Like, y'all have been like literally refusing my deposition requests. So I mean, Britney wants to, but he definitely said in his little like press release or whatever, his hearing was like, if my client wants to, we will pursue it. So I'm not sure where it is, but Britney, you want to speak about petty?
yeah,
Britney Spears has been so petty this week, and I'm here for it.
same. She like, I'm guessing finally has full control of her
Mm-hmm.
Instagram
Yeah.
account.
Yeah.
Like her and Sam, her fiance, were wearing Free Britney t-shirts. She's
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging the Free Britney movement a lot
Mm-hmm.
more openly and directly.
Mm-hmm.
But she has called out, so like the one that I saw specifically was Christina Aguilera, which like is really interesting because obviously they've had like an on and off feud.
Mm-hmm.
But Christina on Twitter has openly spoken about the Free Britney movement, but it seems like Britney was calling her out for being like maybe performative.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Ultimately, and this was a lot also in Bachelor Nation during the election. I got very mad when people would make very performative, basic ass statements, and it was clearly because they were pressured. I had firsthand experience of that because I was doing the pressuring.
Yes, in all of the like
yeah.
question boxes on
Yes,
Instagram.
exactly.
Yep,
I was
yep,
like, can you speak on this? Can you speak on this? I was adding people. I was like,
yep.
so I like literally do know how that kind of pressure about something so fucking like intense that you would cave and make a statement. Her statement on Twitter wasn't that fucking revolutionary. It was
No.
good, and I'm glad she said it, and it did bring some credibility to the movement at a time when we
Yes.
needed it, but also, but not really. That's the thing. She did it
Yeah.
after the June 23rd hearing where Britney finally spoke. So
Yes.
like, so it is performative. I think it's
Yeah.
performative. I think it's still good. Some performative stuff is okay, but like for her to then follow it up with this most recent red carpet where she just like refused to talk about Britney and was like, I'm happy for her. It was like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
So I think Britney knows more than we will ever know about her relationship with celebrity peers in her life. And yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, I think the thing is Britney is new to the internet in some ways, and I think she might not realize to some extent that the power in which she wields, and like people are
Yes.
gonna come for Christina, but like at the same time, like Christina could have stood up for her more.
Yeah, that's true. And the creator or like director or something like that, someone who was involved with the Netflix
Mm-hmm.
documentary came out
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter today and said like we asked a bunch of celebs, probably people like Christina Aguilera,
Mm-hmm.
to speak in the documentary, and everyone declined really quickly,
Yeah.
even after they specified that it was going to fully be on the conservatorship, not about Britney like personally or anything,
Mm-hmm.
which I think was a direct kind of comment on the
Mm-hmm.
Christina thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's such an interesting thing that she mentions that it was like an unspoken
Yeah.
thing happening in Hollywood. It kind of reminded me of Harvey Weinstein, like
Mm-hmm.
how like everyone
Mm-hmm.
now that we know, we saw stand-up jokes about it and
Mm-hmm.
tweets and blah blah blah, like all this stuff.
But a ton of people don't talk about it, and I
I
was just,
know.
and we are big fans of Behind the Blinds, or Beyond,
Yes,
yeah,
beyond.
Beyond the Blinds, sorry. And they did an episode on like Jennifer Lawrence, and I fucking loved it. Oh my God. But, you know, they were talking about just like, you know, she knew about Harvey and all of the shit that was happening very obviously. You can speculate whether she was potentially a Harvey girl or not as well. But like, she clearly everyone in Hollywood knew what was going on. And the fact that she didn't speak up on it speaks volumes, you know? And then it's just, and I understand if people are like also victims of abuse, because a lot of musicians are also victim of like shitty managers and things like that. Lou Taylor has a lot of fucking ties in Hollywood, obviously.
Yeah.
So I get it. And so for the longest time, I actually totally understood that no one was talking about it. But then like once Britney herself fucking says it on an audio, like y'all need to come correct and like speak up on her behalf, or at least say just something.
Yeah.
And so yes, that is what Christina did. Good. But like, it's, I don't know. I just imagine Britney knows more about that. And so I'm going to trust her on that one. But yeah, it's really sad that a lot of people who are going through their own, you know, I don't know. It's just brutal. Well, because what it speaks to is how strong the narrative was that Britney was unwell.
Yeah.
That was so beyond hammered into our minds, my minds, your minds, everybody's minds, for so many years. And even as I went on my own feminist woke journey over the last 8-10 years, until the Free Britney movement, I didn't think about it. Didn't think twice about how I thought she was crazy for shaving her head, until hearing about it and then going like, whoa. Of course she's not fucking crazy for shaving. What? Like, we just fucking put this person in a fucking conservatorship because she shaved her head. Like, it's just like wild. And so it just speaks to like, I think a lot of celebrities probably also didn't know, like they saw her acting unwell because the conservatorship was making her unwell. They were putting her on lithium and drugging her and making her look weird because they wouldn't let her talk to anybody. So I sometimes also think that some celebrities didn't speak up because they just were like, I mean, maybe she needs it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. And I liked Lady Gaga's statement. Britney also thanked her for this, but she just said that this is sparking more conversations about women in like pop music and in celebrity culture and stuff. And it's like, Christina could have spoken to that. Like, because I'm sure she's had similar blowback, obviously, with like her dirty era and stuff like that. Lots of sexism, slut shaming, like all of that. So yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm excited to see who Britney like comes for next, to be honest.
I know, everyone's
like oh seriously. It's good. And I just want to ask for people that don't know, but you mentioned Lou Taylor. Do you want to speak to who that is for a second, just in case people don't know?
Yeah, because it is kind of newer stuff to some people who are on the outside. Lou Taylor is the owner of a company called TriStar, and she's a business manager for entertainment and sports celebrities. And she was integral. She's very religious also. She her and her husband like have ties to churches that are tied to conversion therapy programs. They're very, very religious. And the father kind of got wrapped up in that back in 2007 and 2008 when everything was happening. Britney Spears had no contact with her parents for a lot of those years because they were being abusive. And Lou Taylor was just really integral, and this is according to Britney's mother in a book, in helping James Spears plan the 5150 holds and getting her into a conservatorship. And she then, within the year of it starting, she became Britney's business manager, which is just like weird. And then has made millions and millions, $600 million at this point. There's one thing we feel it she has siphoned, and it's just really sad. And she has a bunch of other companies she like has in different names. They're all tied to the same address. If you want to know more about Lou Taylor, I suggest going on YouTube and typing in a page called That Surprise Witness. and she has like probably like 50 videos on Lou Taylor and all of the different court filings, and it's pretty amazing. But Lou Taylor is evil. Like, I mean, she's evil on so many levels, but like Britney's fans were making posts about her, and she was trying to sue those fans for defamation, and she's using Britney's money to do that. It's just like,
I hate that.
And that got confirmed because the lawyer has asked for that specific information in the documents. He's like, I need your, the documents for when you used money for lawsuits not pertaining to my client. Like, holy shit.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Lou Taylor like also Travis Scott's manager?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of his probably many.
Yes.
Yeah, and the company TriStar did get mentioned in one of the new lawsuits regarding Astroworld. So
okay, interesting. Yeah. Oh, this is just it's so sad. But I'm gonna check out that YouTube channel because I feel like I need to read up on my Lou Taylor. Like, not even conspiracy, just
I know, and for so long it seemed like that, but now it's like really connecting. It's just really fun. And like the fact that they're refusing to give documents is just like a huge sign of like, foul play. So
interesting. Well, Britney, all the best. Saw she was shopping at Target. I'm like, oh,
congrats.
I can get that, like, Target decor. Like,
buy as many candles as you want.
Yes. The next thing that we wanted to talk about was Harry Styles has come out with a nail polish line called Pleasing. I think I wrote pleased in our notes, but it's called Pleasing. It's mainly like nail polish. The nail polish looks fine. But it also, his line included a lip oil and an under eye cream, which I've seen some TikTok breakdowns are like pretty basic bitch, like products in terms of the ingredients and like your money. What do you think about Pleasing?
I'm like, is this the new thing we're doing where we're like making titles of things with ing, like pleasing? It's like, because I know like online we're always like, we're shitting and farting, right? Like that's the new like thing. Like, is this
we're screaming and crying.
Yes, the new like concept. And like, I think it is. No one's told me otherwise, so I feel like that's probably what he's doing. So I guess good on him for being on the cutting edge of Gen Z. Yeah, I looked up a little bit the other day. It's like, it is pleasing to the eye, I suppose. No, the aesthetic is pretty good so far. Upon a little more research, it looks like he's trying to like also make it like, good for the planet. The boxing is all like compostable. The products don't have like a bunch of negative things in them. And I guess it seems on brand.
All good points. Yeah, I should say also that like the products were like ethically sourced and all of those things. Yeah. I love Harry Styles. I'm not like die hard One Direction or Harry Styles, but like I obviously like his music. I've followed him since his 1D days. I think he's doing a lot of great things, talking about the things he talks about.
Does he even talk much? He just looks pretty. The man looks pretty.
That's a good point. I was like, what does he talk about when I really think about it?
I mean, whether it was intentional or not, he has been the topic of Candace Owens for a couple of years, regarding how he's destroying the modern man or whatever.
Yeah, masculinity.
But I like that. I do think he's had like good discourse about that. So like, good on him for that.
Yes, he has brought up a lot of conversations about how men should dress and why clothes are gendered and like all of that stuff. So I think that's what I mean when I'm like, okay, these are great conversations to have. He is an avid nail polish wearer, so it like fits seamlessly into his brand. And he like specifically said this is not like for a specific gender. You can buy it regardless of your gender, if you want to wear nail polish, which I think is great. I think I'm just like, and I don't know why I feel shady about this. I don't know if I've actually seen a lot of negative press about this, but like, I just think that it kind of seems cash grabby, which it's like also like what fucking isn't cash grabby
I know
nowadays.
right?
So it's like, how can I say that about him, but like no one else? And like, but then I also just think, I think he thinks it's intentionally for people of all genders, but I think it's just gonna be bought by women because I feel like that's just like his audience is like 99% women, and like I'm making huge assumptions, but like I see all of the like tour pictures and I'm like I just like, and I don't want to assume anyone's gender just by looking at a picture, but I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like this is kind of I just kind of feel salty about it still, that it's just like it just feels weird still, like kind of a guy marketing beauty products to women, to young women. Yeah. That I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I could pass on this.
Well, because I also feel like there isn't like a ton of like info about what it is. I watched a YouTube video from like a blogger that does like breakdowns of products, and she was like really concerned too. She's just like, there's like a short list of ingredients, like what's really in it. Is Harry Styles really a skincare person? Like, and she made this really interesting point that I loved, like clothing lines you can take off, makeup you can wash off from celebrities. Skincare is supposed to do something to your skin, and so it's dangerous to potentially be putting out lines that are not good for you, and Kylie has been suspect of this for a while, of course. And a lot of bad reviews about her products, and things, any good reviews are probably often bought and paid for. And so it's kind of interesting to me for sure. Like, what is he really doing? Is it really like good for your skin? The nail polish, I'm like, good, like nail polish. And it feels like they probably were in a meeting. They're like, well, we have to do a couple other things. You can't just fucking sell nail polish, Harry.
Right.
So it's kind of odd to me a little bit. And like the promotion rollout is also illustrated. He's like did one photo for it, like on his own Instagram that I've seen. And it's not even a close-up of his face. It's just like him looking, he just looks good.
Yes. I know.
So yeah,
I
kind of agree. Like it's a little suspect because I'm like, he's not even really promoting this in the way that like Kylie does, which is problematic in her own right, because her photos are clearly doctored and like photoshopped, and she's like, this face wash is gonna make your fucking face look like mine. No.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, that's a good point. And I was seeing like a few comments on the internet being like, when celebs like need money or want to do like some kind of quick scheme, like get rich scheme, they do like a beauty line. And I just think of like Selena's new beauty line, Millie Bobby Brown's beauty line, just like I could name like fucking Addison Rae's beauty line. Like literally so many people have beauty lines now, and I'm just like, it seems like a crowded space to be in. I don't know why people particularly do that, but
well, I sent you that TikTok, right? It was so funny.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's this person pretending to be Harry Styles' publicist, and they're just like talking to him, and he's like, so like, you know, I think we could just like be more gay. Like honestly, just like more gay. Like I don't think you could be too gay online. So just like keep that in mind. Also, like, how flexible are your pronouns? So yeah, anyway, so I think we should also do all these things. And I just like loved it because it's so spot on. I do think he's, whether it's like intentional or not, he's grasping onto this like
community.
Yeah, of like gender or sexuality fluidness.
Yeah.
That I guess is good.
Yeah.
But would somebody maybe potentially say it's queer baiting?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's like a hard thing for me as a straight person to like comment on, but it is like, I have been thinking like, if you're not like, you also don't have to be out, like, but I don't know, but it's like weird that this is the direction that he's gone in, and I really hope that it's authentic is just what I'm trying to say. Like I really hope that it is like when he has people literally come out at his shows, when he has like his pride flags up on his on the stage,
right,
and like all of this stuff. Like I hope it's authentic to him is just what I want to say. I really hope that the cynic in me, is cynic a word?
Yeah, I think
yes,
so.
Okay, perfect. The cynic is in me is like, this was like maybe like an untapped market, and he like is doing this for like capitalistic reasons.
But then like I've listened to the Beyond the Blinds podcast too, where they've talked about like extensive history of potentially Harry being bisexual. Like he hasn't come out on it, and obviously, so like we're not going to say that that's the case, but I'm like, there's enough like ambiguity in his history that I'm like, is he just kind of leaning into it without leaning into it, much like Taylor Swift, as I'm learning. The you know, the discourse around her potentially being bi is also an interesting one, and it's like in some ways, so like clearly she's not coming out whether she is or not, but like she is leaning into it to an extent. And I think the debate, as a queer person myself, like the debate of queer baiting is very hard, and I don't know the right answers, but I do sometimes ultimately land on the more, if you as a young queer person feel accepted by somebody you idolize because they're making a community that feels safe for you, then I think that's good. So if Taylor and Harry and Billie Eilish make young queer, youth feel safe, then I think that is a positive. And even if it makes them lots of money, that's fine, because they're going to be making money regardless. So let's have them make money in a way that makes queer youth feel safe.
Yes, I love that. That is such a good point. And you're right, that is like what Harry has been doing. And you're right, there is like many blind items and lore around like him dating men and like stuff like that. I don't know why I'm like, with Taylor, I'm like, I'm all in like on all of these theories, like it's true. And then I'm like, with Harry, maybe it's just because I don't know him and his like, I'm just not as much of a fan of him as I am Taylor, but but yeah, it's really interesting. I can't wait to see like reviews of the evolution, like stuff like that. I don't know why I'm like so cynical. I'm like, has he been wearing nail polish this whole time just like so he could sell it down the line? Like, what have I become as a person? Like,
that's pretty deep. Like, I love it for you though.
Like, literally, I was like, I hate this about myself.
Because you're a Swiftie that believes that she might be queer. Because like, if you are that person, then you believe that the majority of her relationships have been fake.
Yes.
And so like, I think that that's a conspiracy level that for me, I'm like, oh yeah, that tracks. That you're also like you're like
questioning everything.
Yeah, you're like speculating. Like,
Oh my gosh, I could talk about this literally forever. Anything else you want to say about Harry's pleasing nail polish line?
The bottles look like butt plugs.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought it up because I wasn't going to. But absolutely, I saw someone point that out and I was like, I will never not see this. It's like, especially like the material that it's made out of. It's like kind of like a marble, like
butt plug. Yeah.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. I'm like, oh, maybe I should get a marble butt plug. I mean, that's probably really smooth feeling.
Literally, I it's like once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Do you think it was intentional? Yeah.
All of it's intentional. Pleasing. Are you kidding me? All of it's pearl. All of it's pearl. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay.
All the names are pearl related.
Yes. And like the
pearls in the cream or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like, pearls are a fashion choice, but pearls are also a fucking semen choice.
Yes. So. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, you are right down the rabbit hole with me. Like, because, okay, what Jenna's referring to, if you haven't seen like a visual of the products, is like the under eye cream, I believe. It's like those like pearl micro bead type. It's not micro beads, but like, yeah. Oh my God, fascinating. I I didn't get there, but I was at the butt plugs, like, for sure. Like,
yeah, you must always be thinking about gay sex. Always. As I am. Yes. Mm-hmm. Always.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just can see a lot of like parents buying this for their kids for Christmas and like getting like a lot of kids getting them in their stockings, and I love that.
Okay, yeah, Mom, my One Direction guy is making the nail polish. Okay, I'll buy it for you, honey. Gay agenda. Gay agenda. It's happening before your eyes. Your poor child is becoming gay right before your eyes.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Okay, well, we'll see the reviews. We'll see the colors.
Yeah, let us know.
One last thing that I want to say. The colors, like, are nice.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're this opalescent color, this like very matte black, this pink, and then like some just a clearness one of the videos I saw said that it's intended to be that way so that you can mix and match and like combine colors together to make different colors yourself. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. Nice, Harry. Well, all the best as you wrap up your tour. It looks like so much fun. I'm kind of...
Yeah. If somebody wants to send me $65 to buy the kit, I will do my nails and do a YouTube review.
$65, that's steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's steep, but that's okay.
We're all suffering in this pandemic. Even Harry.
Oh my God. Okay. That's so funny. Do you want to share your This Week in Petty?
I love that this podcast does that as like a good little like personal thing, because we've been like fucking shitting on celebrities.
Yes.
Like, as if we aren't literally trash just like them. I mean, Lord.
That is literally the basis of this podcast.
I'd say like my like petty thing that I'm like really pissed off. I'm like really like mad that like my heart is trying to make me fall in love again, and I really fucking hate it, because I am somebody who's very like anti like standard relationships and monogamy and the concept of love. I famously have said that I don't think that love is a lie brought to us by Disney and Coca-Cola to make money and destroy lives. And I just like I'm not here for it, even though I watch a show about people falling in love and I cry sometimes about it, but I fucking
yes, you do.
hate it. But like lately, I don't know if it's cuffing season or whatever, but I'm just like, my heart's just trying to get me to fall in love again, and it's really annoying to me. And I think she's being really petty. I'm crying at the randomest things. I'm listening to Olivia Rodrigo and being like, oh my God.
And Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift now. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I was talking to my therapist about it. And we're kind of new. I just started seeing her like a couple months ago. And I'm talking about my like thoughts and feelings and how I don't like love and don't want to do things. And I'm pissed about dating in this pandemic. And then she like was about to open her mouth, and I said, listen, if you're going to ask me what I want in a relationship, don't fucking bother. I know your game. I know what therapists are doing. Don't ask me, because I don't fucking know what I want in a relationship. And she started laughing at me, which I thought was an interesting response.
A therapy session where there's laughter. Like, what's that like?
She was like, okay, well, yeah, I guess I was gonna ask you what you're looking for. Anyway, I don't know what I'm looking for, and I'm just mad about it.
I love that you had the gall to even, did you do the finger, the help?
Yeah, I was like, hold on, I know what you're gonna ask me, and I don't.
I'm obsessed with that. I don't think I've ever really done that to anyone IRL, like let alone my therapist.
Well, she was on Zoom, so I guess I probably felt a little safer.
Yeah, nice. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. So she didn't ask you. You're gonna see her again.
Mm-hmm. I have to probably figure it out at some point. Yeah.
But I feel like it is like what is in the air. I feel like everything I see on Instagram, it's Taylor Swift and Adele It's like they manifested this into existence. Sad girl Autumn.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's really there. It's like, God damn it. It's hard enough to just like get cold, and it's hard to exist, and I want to cuddle, but I also don't want to cuddle, and I don't want to fall for anybody. I don't want to whatever, but I'm also like, but also
your heart is like thawing out right in time for cuffing season.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah. Oh my God. Wild. Bullshit. I hate it. But if you think I'm cute, slide into my DMs.
Yeah. People contain multitudes. You said that at the beginning of the episode, and I have to reiterate it at the end. I think that it's interesting that, like, that's your perspective when you do cover a Bachelor show. But I guess it's like so much of it is manufactured that I totally get why you would also just like continue, like, hold on to those beliefs. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm like, if anything, it's convincing me more that love isn't real.
Literally. Yeah, especially, we didn't even cover this, but like Tayshia and Zach rumors, like of a break and stuff like that. So
it's just so sad.
We can announce it here, like, love is dead.
Love is dead. Yeah, I really love was
doesn't
like,
exist.
Yeah, when Claire and Dale broke up, I was like, well, at least we still got Tayshia.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, I always think, not to take us on another Bachelor tangent, the franchise needs couples, I feel like, to keep up the facade that this is a real dating show. So, like, do you think they ever scramble when they see all these like couples breaking up?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we really do. And like, there are ones kind of in recent history that are still together. Rachel and Brian, of course. JoJo and Jordan.
Yeah.
Sean Lowe, of course. Golden Child. There's a couple other, and then there's a lot of people who've had like made new relationships because of the Bachelor Nation. Caitlin and Jason. And Becca and fucking Thomas. And so you know, I do think that but I also think at some point they've also been like, that is part of the it's just a part of, people are still gonna watch. But I like when Katie and Blake broke up, I was just like, God damn it, like they didn't even fucking make it work, you know? Like,
I know, like, you didn't even try.
Oh God. And so at least Zach and Tayshia tried, you know, if it is in fact true. So
and like, also when Bachelor relationships run its course for like a year or two, like even like Sean and Caitlin, I'm like, that is real. Like, I count that as like a win, because it's like,
it does.
You getting engaged after 6 weeks of filming or 12 weeks of filming or whatever, like, is basically you just starting to date. So like, I think that those are legitimate. But
agreed.
So I do count Zach and Tayshia as a win in their books, but like, tough pill to swallow if that comes out like a real announcement from them.
But we wish the best for everybody, of course.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Chris Harrison.
Kate, where could the listeners find you, get more hot takes about love, Bachelor, Taylor Swift, all the good stuff?
I love that. Yes. Make sure you're following us on Date Card Pod on Instagram at Date Card Pod. Also, my personal account is pretty fun too. That is at Jenna with a smile, JENNA with a smile. I sometimes tweet, and Jenna with a smile on TikTok. I have some pretty fun TikToks there too. You'll get a lot of Twilight content there. Yeah. And you'll get a lot of hot takes about life as a single queer lady in Portland who loves Twilight and The Bachelor, and now Taylor Swift. God damn it.
Obsessed. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was really fun.
This was so much fun.
Good. And if you're not following me, you can follow along with my adventures at RTPP Podcast on all socials. I hope that you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.